want to turn to the state of the consumer this holiday season and how retailers expect President-elect Trump's proposed tariffs to impact business. Joining us right now is Aman Advani. He's the co-founder and CEO of Ministry of Supply. It's a largely direct-to-consumer clothing company. It's got a store, though, a big one in Boston. It specializes in work leisure for men and women, some of the most comfortable, not work from home, work from office clothes. Right, Aman?
That's right. If Greer Consulting is right, we'll need a lot more comfortable dress clothes if people are heading back to offices. So,
are you wearing? Just so we know, I hope are you sporting some of this stuff right now?
Oh, always. You can't catch me outside of if I'm awake. It's the Ministry of Supply.
I made a crucial error this morning. I do own some Ministry of Supply shirts and other things, and I thought I could wear them today. They're stretchy. What's great about it is it's almost like wearing athletic wear, but it looks like business wear. Oh, they're actually showing pictures of it.
Oh, that looks nice.
But I should have worn it. The collar for me.
It's not stiff enough.
Aman, we should discuss this. It's not totally TV friendly. The collar with a tie, but that's a different discussion.
With a tie, yeah, fair enough.
Let's talk, though, about the tariff piece, because I feel like you guys have been thinking about this for a long time and have actually addressed some of it already.
That's right. We had a bit of a dry run, right? A lot of this started happening in, 2018, 2019. We saw some of this coming. So, I mean, again, if you think about it, you just gave such a generous introduction to our company, aside from the feedback, of course. But we make performance dress clothes for business class, right? We everything we make is backed by patents and partnerships with NASA and MIT and electronically heated jackets, right? So we can't just pick up and move overnight. The equipment, the know-how to make the clothes we make has taken us a decade of R&D that's happened right here in Massachusetts in our labs. And so we have seen this come before, and we are preparing for it to come again, but it's not so easy as pick up and move, right? It does take years of planning and adjustments to all of that R&D.
So where most of your garments manufactured right now?
Yeah, so we do a lot in Asia, China, Vietnam, Indonesia. We do some here in the U.S. We do Honduras. We're open to new factories at any given moment, Hong Kong. We've got a lot of wonderful partners that have multiple locations across multiple countries, which makes moving a little bit easier, but certainly a very global footprint.
And what's the switching cost and the switching time?
So the switching cost in many cases, and I guess it answers both questions, in some cases is impossible, right? The IP we've built is often in conjunction with these factories, right? These are people who are specializing in fabric technology. You want a dress shirt that's machine washable, right? This was balled up in the seat back pocket in front of me last night. Shake it out and wear it on TV, right? If you want to do that, you can't just pick up and move. So in some cases, it means starting from scratch, right? In some cases, it does mean completely. In that case, you're talking about a 2-year timeline from absolute customer conversation concept to doorstep at a minimum 2 years.
What would it take for you to move back to the U.S., Aman? I'm just curious because there's all this talk about reshoring, et cetera. How much more would your garments cost if you moved back here?
Interestingly, so I think that question can kind of be posed to two types of companies, right? You've got companies who are making commodities where the infrastructure exists and it's largely a pricing question, right? So in that case, it's probably just a purely financial question. In the case of a lot of direct consumer brands, and I'd say including ours, where the infrastructure simply doesn't exist today, the first step would be to build this layer of technology, this infrastructure behind all the clothing we make. So it isn't just a question of kind of would we need to raise prices X% to move back to the U.S. There's a much bigger existential question of how can we do that, right? These factories we've been working with for years now, we've vetted, we visit them, we have dinner with them every quarter, every year. And so it's a long, deep partnership we have with our factories to make sure that the wild innovations we're putting forth can actually come to life in a high quality way. So it unfortunately isn't so simple as saying it's a 5 or 10% lift. Again, for a commoditized good, for something from the incumbents, maybe so.
If I told you, I'm just curious. I'm sort of playing out the potentially America First President-elect Trump's sort of administration promise. If he said that he was going to either lower taxes because you were going to manufacture in the U.S. by 10%, I don't know, I'm making up the number, or he was going to implement taxes or tariffs rather on some of these other things, and then you start to put in the shipping costs and maybe some of the back and forth. You said you're having dinner with these folks. It means you're getting on a plane to go have that dinner. Hopefully, that's not taking up too much of your company's revenues. But at what point does it make sense to actually manufacture in the U.S., or is it almost impossible?
No, it actually, in some cases, the U.S., when we've done production in the U.S., it's actually been, in some cases, cheaper. It really, I keep coming back to, it's not purely, I think there's this assumption that U.S. manufacturing is purely a cost question. Our number one product a couple of years ago was 3D printed right in Los Angeles. So we were making clothes that were actually completely from yarn directly to garment, no waste, incredible technology. And it was our number one selling product that year. And so we do have U.S. production. We do support. We love U.S. production. We're a Massachusetts-based company. But in many cases, it's not just a question of dollars, right? It's a question of how do we bring that here, and in a lot of cases, kind of continuing to support stuff like 3D printing and skilled labor and skilled manufacturing that we want to bring back on shore.
So that's a fair question. Do you think we have the skilled labor to do this?
We do, absolutely. I mean, it's all around us, right? We're in one of the greatest technology eras we'll ever see here in the U.S., and we have a ton of wonderful talent that can do this. Now, I think there's a question of, is it our top priority? Is it where we want to invest our next dollar? And that's a question that's beyond my paycheck.